Okay, so when two monomers actually come together, what they have is they lose water molecule, okay, and they form a linkage here. So like this. Know what I mean? Okay, so this kind of linkage is called glycosidic linkage, glycosidic bond that is only existent within disaccharide or polysaccharide. Okay, so in order to form polymer or dimer, okay, they always go through dehydration, losing water, okay, between two OH groups and then forming a linkage like this. Okay, so when it is connected by a linkage, then it's called disaccharide, and then if there are multiple, so polymers, right? So polymers of monosaccharide, then it's called polysaccharide. Okay, when it comes to polysaccharide, we talked about 4 different polysaccharide. In plants, polysaccharide that makes up the structure of a plant is called cellulose. It was like linear structures stacked together. Okay, and then storage is starch in plants. Okay, and in animal cell, structure is only for like fungi or arthropods. So exoskeletons of those kind of organisms actually is made up of chitin, which is another type of polysaccharide. Okay, and the last polysaccharide is the energy storage in animal cell, and that is called glycogen. Okay, so that's what we talked about in the previous class. All right, so today let's talk about the rest of the molecules. Okay, so let's talk about the second one, lipid, which is fat. All right, okay, so when you go to page 44, okay, then they talk about how the structure of the lipid actually gets formed. Okay, all right, so in order to form lipid, okay, when you're talking about lipid, the most lipid that we talk about is like the triglyceride. Okay, normal fat that normal fat that's existent in our body is in the form of triglyceride. Okay, what this is basically it's made up of glycerol plus fatty acids. Okay, so if they come together, then they form one big chunk of fat, and that is called triglyceride. Okay, so if you look at the structure, glycerol actually looks like C, H, OH, like this. Okay, so this is the structure of glycerol. Okay, and then fatty acid looks like, so C, OH, and then there's like a long carbon chain. Okay, so long carbon chain, and then at the end it has carboxyl group and the OH. Okay, so this kind of structure is called fatty acid. All right, so when glycerol and fatty acid come together, what they do is they also go through dehydration reaction, losing water between hydroxyl group in these two. Okay, so H goes off here, OH goes off here. What happens is they form a linkage and fatty acid comes here. You know what I mean? So each of the OH group actually reacts with another fatty acid. So CO like this, and then this also goes like this. Okay, so triglyceride is actually this structure, this one. Okay, so when we look at the structure of triglyceride, it has the glycerol part on the top and fatty acid tails at the bottom. Okay, so this makes up the triglyceride, which is the fat that we talk about. Okay, so this makes up this, this actually packs up into like a big fat, okay, that we look at. All right, so as you can see, this is very nonpolar, okay, because it has like a long carbon chain, and then also everything here is carbon here, okay. So all of this is actually nonpolar structure. Okay, so on page 45, they talk about how the lipids are formed from glycerol and 3 fatty acids. Okay, so a fatty acid is a hydrocarbon chain with the carboxyl group at one end, right? So fatty acid exists in 2 varieties, saturated and unsaturated. Okay, so when we're talking about fatty acid part, okay, then fatty acid basically is